Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan one more time. I don't know. JP's my producer. He's also a full-time real estate broker with us. How you doing, JP?
Good, Russ.
He's doing great. Hey, I have somebody in the office. First of all, it's good to see you, Lisa Boyle.
Yep, great to see you. Great to be here.
How long have you and Brian been in real estate?
I am a little over 4 years. Brian is going to be hitting his second year in real estate here this year.
So, how's it like? What's it like to work with your husband in real estate?
Well, it's actually a really great dynamic that we have going on. What our biggest slogan is to each other is divide and conquer. Having somebody right by your side that understands exactly what you're going through and can just have your back no matter what. I mean, you can't replace that. So it's great to have a partner in real estate and in crime.
Well, he's such a great guy, and you guys have had an incredible year. So you've been in the business 4 years. So in 2021, Lisa, you're not one that toots your own horn very well, so I'll toot it for you. You sold 139 homes, basically, I think by yourself. I think that's not even including Brian's. That's like $1 million or more, right? Take home. So how does one, I look at you, and I've sold a lot of houses in my life, and I remember we had some good conversations about balance and work-life balance and not burning out, and we got you, introduced you to Fletcher Ellingson, and that helped your mindset because you were just a flamethrower. But you're doing so much business, and I just thought we could go back, and if people are listening and they're thinking about getting into real estate, or if they're working at another company, I love that you've only been in the business 4 years and you're just dominating. That's a house every 3 days. So before we get to how do you do that, what does it just feel like at Keller Williams with you and Brian and your family? And for people that don't know us, don't know me, don't know Kelly, EC's, any of us, how would you describe it?
The biggest word that comes to mind is secure. And when I use that word, secure, I don't mean complacent. I mean that I am with a company that will always have my back, whether it is a mistake that I make or to share in the happy moments and the successes and also have my back when I feel like I'm falling. That is something that being with 2 other brokerages before coming here, I didn't have. So a sense of security is undeniably probably the biggest thing that an agent should be looking for in a brokerage. It is something that can't be replaced.
Yeah. I mean, what's cool about watching you guys develop is that you, first of all, have always been open to learning, right? You've always been learning based. That's one of our 6 personal perspectives that we teach a lot is there's only 2 ways of being, really, learning based or ignorant based, right?
Yeah.
So you've always been learning based, and you've always taken coaching well, right? Like you guys have a desire to learn. And what's interesting about this business, I think, when you're brand new, you think, oh, I got so much to learn. But I bet you would agree with me on this, that even though you close a deal every 3 days, you have a lot to learn. This business never ends. It's like this, whether it's about how to balance this or how to leverage or how to create a better system. This is the thing that we're always trying to do. We were talking about this before the show, you and I, and we were saying, it's great to celebrate, but we often feel like we're in chaos, right? We're always organizing to get organized. But I said it the other day on a video. I said, look, when you're feeling vulnerable, when you're feeling like, God, I'm just not organized, or I'm just feeling this resistance somewhere, or I'm just feel like I don't have all my ducks in a row. That's actually a good sign because you're growing typically. If you have just smooth water, it's real easy to be smooth when you're not doing any business. But that's not always a good thing. But what's great is when you do feel that, it's fun to watch people like you and Brian adapt And, you know, because you didn't sell a home every 3 days, day one, almost day one you did. But so tell me what that's like. I mean, and tell me if you were talking to a new agent, you know, they say in this business, we now have a free real estate school. We have 65 people in school. In fact, JP was our first graduate, passed the test, boom. You hadn't taken a test in like 30 years, huh?
Yeah, right.
So what would you say to people? What would be some of the things, you know, there's a lot of people out there stuck right now financially. You know, COVID really did strike. There's families that are hurting. Lisa, what would be your advice? You know, you're a top producer now. What would you say?
Anybody that would be looking into real estate and feeling like it would be a good fit, you know, the income and the friendships, everything that you gain by being a real estate agent, it far exceeds the chaos. It's always going to be up and down, but in reality, you are your own boss. You aren't stuck on a 9 to 5. You have the ability to be flexible, and you can earn as much as you put your mind to. And if you're with the right brokerage that is actually doing their part to help you succeed and get your name out there and teach you the things that you absolutely need to know to be a successful agent, it's limitless. There's no end to how big and how much income you can be in the end.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I struggle often in coaching with trying to get people in the right mindset, that they are resourceful, capable, worthy, that their insecurities don't dominate their actions. You know, so often I have a lot of people that we coach with that are new and they're trying to get into the business, and some of them really will go to great measures to not work, right? But it's not because they're not hard workers. They're just simply afraid of success as much as they're afraid of looking silly or afraid they don't know the answer to a question. So how'd you, like, I'm always perplexed by this because I'm like, mindset eats strategies and tactics for breakfast. So how do you stay up? So, I mean, is it just a natural gift? Because when I'm always talking to you, you always seem like you're vivacious and up, you know, you're ready to rumble. And I ask you, what's your secret? You go, well, I answered my phone. Like, you're very humble about your success.
Well, I'm just going to be real with anybody listening. I'm not always upbeat. I have my moments. I cry a lot and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And there are times that my feelings get hurt and I feel like giving up. But those are the times that I fake it until I make it, because if you put a smile on your face, eventually that smile does become real. And there's nothing wrong with faking a happiness when you want to cry and shut yourself in a closet, because it gets you to that next moment. And this too shall pass is one of my favorite sayings, because you're going to have hard times in real estate just like you would with any other job, but this too shall pass. And if you approach it right, and it's taken me years to learn this, and I still struggle at times, but I'm not always happy and upbeat, and things do get me down. But I'm more proud of myself when I conduct business professionally and I get off the phone when I want to scream, but I conducted it with a really, positive interaction, because then I don't have regrets on the next phone call with that same client of, okay, I lost my cool. No, I kept it together. They didn't feel the insecurities and anger or hurt that I was feeling. Therefore, it put me in a higher position with the next phone call.
Yeah. Your vulnerability, I've been saying this a lot. Authenticity and vulnerability are sexy. I think that's something that people often don't realize. This machismo mentality that you have to have all the answers all the time and be, the James Dean of real estate. Is, for those that don't know James Dean, you should YouTube it. He's kind of a cool dude back in the 50s or whatever. So, there's a guy smoking a cigarette leaning up against his car, his white T-shirt and Marlboros rolled up in his sleeve. That's James Dean. We don't need to be that. Being real and being vulnerable and being authentic and telling the truth and all your flaws is what people love. That's what they love about you. It's what it's what I love about you. And that's what we should be striving to become, is just more real. And so with that vulnerability, one of the things that I loved is I remember having a conversation with you a while back, and you were struggling with something. Your mindset was kind of fragmenting, and I think I asked you, I go, well, how's the coaching going? And you go, well, I have stopped coaching for the last 2 months. And I'm like, maybe we should get that back online with Fletcher, because when you're doing that much business, I mean, I hit a brick wall. I was doing that kind of stuff once. So I lived it, got divorced, was in some fisticuffs. I was younger. I was drinking too much. I was making all these beautiful decisions, that were not healthy. And I didn't want to see you guys go there, right? So, I mean, This is an example of how you were vulnerable enough to talk to me, and then together we found a solution, found you a coach. And what would you say to people when I say mindset matters? And we're about to take a break. We got about a minute in this segment, but when I say mindset eats tactics and strategies for breakfast, I mean, would you agree with that? Like, your mind's like, we're all in chaos, right? You have to find a way to control that.
Yeah, and I can elaborate on this more after the break, but I do owe a lot of my success the past year and a half to Fletcher, and how he's been able to get me out of my own head. I still get in there occasionally, but having someone as a life coach on your side is tremendous.
That's awesome. Well, when we come back, let's talk about Fletcher a little bit and a few other things that we have going. And I appreciate you being here today to share how you are such a mutant. I like it. One every 3 days, guys. All right, we'll be right back with Home Sweet Home and Russ McClellan in a few minutes.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home Sweet Home, Home Sweet Home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@kwncw.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan, and today I have Lisa Boyle, my good friend, and she is a Rockstar agent. What's the name of your team, Lisa?
Boyle Real Estate Group.
The Boyle Real Estate Group. You got Brian Boyle, and you guys are selling a house every 3 days for over a year.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's pretty crazy. And, I love that you, in the last segment, you were just very vulnerable and authentic about, hey, life's not all perfect. Even though I'm doing a lot of deals, I struggle at times, and that struggle bus sucks. But sometimes you got to, step up and do the job and put a smile on your face. And you said something that's really true with mindset coaching, and that is when you're smiling, it is hard to be upset. It's funny how your brain, so often our brain just gets in the way, right, and starts to think that it's in charge of us instead of us being in charge of our brain. And what you learn with coaching, like you mentioned Fletcher Ellingson, and that he helped you guys do so well because of how you translate your thoughts, right? We often overlook that. We often think we're like a bunch of robots out here, but the reality is every one of us as a human is very different.
Yeah.
And a lot of us in sales are emotional people. I mean, I've been doing this for 3+ decades, and I still get my feelings hurt. I still go, why did I let that person down? Or, I really find that it bothers me. So I was in coaching with Fletcher for like 2 years, and it helped, right?
Yeah.
Some of the littlest things he says helps, I think.
It really does.
Yeah, and he's volunteered. We have 65 people in school, and he's volunteered to do 3 hours of coaching with every one of them for free.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
it says a lot about who he is. So if you want to go to FletcherEllingson.com, there's a plug for you, Fletcher. He's a big deal. And the problem is happiness, right? We had Sean Aker was the speaker in Florida, and he talked about his book, The Happiness Advantage. And he studied happiness for 12 years. And one of the things I know I went through was when I thought happiness meant achievement. Like if I can just get that much money, or if I just get that car, if I just do this many deals, that's achievement, right? Then I'd be happy. When happiness comes after achievement, it never happens because the goalposts are constantly moving. I mean, if you're at a normal job, you get X dollars an hour. Well, then you got to get X dollars an hour more. I mean, that there's never enough. So you're never happy. It's learning how to be happy in the process, in the moment. And that's where the journaling and the meditation and whatever, the exercise, I mean, the affirmations, all of these things are tricks, so to speak, to trick your mind into not being what it wants to be. And that's a trickster itself, right?
Yeah.
Drama, loves negativity. So I see people that are getting in their own way about mindset. And I love that you're so straightforward about how that's a daily occurrence for you. And I think people respect that. I know they do. I mean, because we all are in our own heads.
Yeah.
Especially after the last 2 years. I mean, we see some pretty interesting things going on in the world. There's a war going on. There's this pandemic that's been going on. There's a lot there, right? So you said something else that was intriguing. How many people do you think were furloughed in the last 2 years without their permission? It had a normal job that in theory was less risky than selling real estate. But guess what? You got to go to work.
Yeah.
Okay? You got to set your own hours, and you could press if you had to make money to feed your family, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was very fortunate to be in this career and be striving during the entire pandemic. If you're striving to be successful, like I said, and you have the gumption to put in the hours, and a lot of people mistake real estate with just opening doors. And there's this whole world behind it that majority of us agents are so eager to share and talk about, and we get excited when somebody wants to know what we truly do behind quote unquote closed doors. So ask one of us, what is real estate truly like? Because none of us are going to sugarcoat it.
All right. It's not, they say it's one of the easiest business to get into and one of the hardest business to be successful at. I believe this, though. I believe if you have a work ethic, if you truly worked hard, and we'll tell you what to do, right? We'll show you, we'll give you a book. And if you just work hard every day, 4 hours a day, hard, I think good things will happen, but it takes some time. It's like that traction isn't always instantaneous. And, there's a lot of people that aren't focused on the right things.
Yeah.
Right. And so yet they'll go do a day job that they hate, and they'll work 50, 60 hours a week at that. But when they get self-employed, then all of a sudden, a lot of people in real estate that don't make it, I'll ask them, how many hours a week do you work? 20.
Yeah.
I'm like, how would you make it in any business? And it's that self-discipline you must have, right? I mean,
yeah.
You have to bring that.
Absolutely.
And fill that hopper, because you never know, right? You got to keep working.
Yeah. And, this is also another thing I had mentioned to Fletcher just last week or the week before, is he always starts our sessions with what's going well for you. And Brian and I had just signed a few new listings. I was feeling pretty good and explaining how I don't know how I've been so lucky to have some of these just fall in my lap. And he pointed out, he said, yeah, but what were you doing a few years ago? It's not luck. And it did remind me that I was out pounding the pavement. I was missing dinners with my family. I was working sunrise to sunset. I was driving all across the state of Washington. You know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. But if you remain your word and committed and you strive for excellence in every single transaction, people will start seeking you out. And I'll never take that for granted. There's going to be a time that the market shifts, and I'm not blind to that, and I will always have to work and stay at my A game. But grinding and hitting the pavement isn't forever in this career if you can just be authentic and true to your word and work for your clients the best that you can.
Yeah, and I think it's important that it's okay to also recommit to your word. You know, sometimes we make mistakes, right? And,
Yes.
And I always tell people, and I've told you guys this, you know, we're human. So when we make mistakes as a designated broker, I just like to coach through it. Like use it as a coaching moment and then learn from it, you know. And if you're committing a crime or fraudulent or lying or, you know, there's things that are like, that might be a different conversation. But if you're just accidentally making mistakes or forget something, we've all been there 100 times. And it's not the end of the world, but just calling and being honest about it with your client. Hey, I blew an appointment. Sorry, I'm going to recommit to my word. I know I broke my word, but I'm going to recommit to you right now. I mean, that's one of the things Fletcher talks about a lot, and we try to coach to that. You must have some systems of some type, because I don't know how you do it, honestly. I mean, it's crazy amount of business, and I know you're an amazing real estate broker. You're incredibly knowledgeable. You're very articulate. You're highly energetic. You got all the disciplines that you need, but to stay organized enough to do that many deals is pretty amazing.
I know that we have some big things coming to Boyle Real Estate Group with, you know, organization and different things that we'll be broadcasting shortly. In the meantime, I am very old school and I love my notebooks and whiteboards. And my home office has multiple whiteboards that has my pendings and close dates and transaction deadlines, along with upcoming listings and potential buyers. And I love my whiteboards, and it might not be the most modern technology or way to keep everybody in order, but it does keep it front and center.
Yeah, I would have a perfect office. Would be nothing but whiteboards.
Yeah.
All the walls would be whiteboards.
Yeah.
I can't sell that to Audie very well, though. I want my whole house to be whiteboards. She's like, no, I don't think so. I go, so when we get married, I can't do whiteboards in the house?
Whiteboards.
Just nothing but whiteboards? She's like, no. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, and I think tech is great, and we have a lot of it at Keller Williams, and we're getting better all the time. I mean, we're implementing. That's the thing, you know, you're always needing to implement systems and or leverage or both as you scale, as you grow. And if nothing else, to get some of your time back, right? Some of this leverage, you know, hiring the right people, putting the right system in place. You don't have to treat, you know, I'm talking to people that are out there, and this is the nice thing about real estate. When you look around our economy, our local economy, there's not a lot of positions out there that can give you the freedom to decide for yourself what you make. If you want to go all in and you want to work sunrise to sunset, you can. You don't have to. In fact, with a free real estate school, I'm convincing a lot of people right now that work in hospitality in Leavenworth and Chelan to just become a referring agent. You just get a license, and now I can pay you 25% of the, you know, you refer to Lisa Boyle, and you do 5 minutes worth of work at that restaurant as a server, and that person buys $1 million place up the Chumstick or wherever up there, right? And next thing you know, you're getting a check for 25% of the selling side of that commission, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a license, now that the school's free, we can legally pay you. Without a license, we can't. They call those kickbacks. It's harder.
Yeah.
Right? They frown on that.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is something that for someone that can't buy AAU basketball shoes for their kids because they're working 3 jobs, single mom, 4 kids, whatever it is, or dad, not sexist, single dad, could happen. This could make a difference, or part-time, or full-time. I mean, real estate can be whatever you want it to be. And I think it's important for people that are interested in that to get a hold of us at 888-0038 and ask for ECs. And our program's called K-School. So, hey, when we come back, one more segment with Lisa Boyle. I'm going to ask her to reveal some of her top secrets in selling a house every 3 days.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home, home sweet home, your home.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@kwncw.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, designated broker and operating partner of Keller Williams Realty NCW. You know, we have almost 70 agents and growing rapidly. We're almost a legit company now with over 2.5 years experience. The good news is this: if you're thinking about changing your life, my goal and my mission to you is to help you transform the life that you deserve and that you want, using real estate as the vehicle to do that. What does that mean? Well, it means whatever you want it to mean. If you want to work part-time, I'll show you how to do it. If you want to work full-time, I'll show you how to do it. And I'm also willing to show and demonstrate our commitment to you and our conviction to our company and transparency by giving you any of the numbers of any of the 70 people that work at Keller Williams. We're a family, we care about each other, and we care about you. So if you want to change your life, you want to get into real estate and have some fun, let's get together and talk. 509-888-0038. Give me a call anytime. You can also call my cell phone at 509-470-2416.
You're tuned to Russ McClellan and Friends on the Real Estate Show Home Sweet Home. Let's get back to Russ.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and my Rockstar agent, Lisa Boyle. Lisa was trying to sell real estate in between segments. She can't help it.
Can't put my phone down.
She loves people, you know, and that's what's fun. You have pride in your business. And I think it's important for people to, when they're looking for a real estate broker, to think about that. Is the person going to take on one of the biggest decisions in the world with some sincerity for you? And I know you do, and Brian does. And that comes across, right? It's just who you are. And I want to commend you and acknowledge you for being just an amazing person. Yeah, and I'm very lucky that you chose to be in business with us here at Keller Williams. And I liked what you said, ask you questions, because that's one thing that often people are afraid to do, right? They're afraid to go talk to the people that are doing the big business, right? And they're a little intimidated, but you know what? We're all just people. And if you have questions, one thing that's nice about the crew here, we have like 75 agents now, and we're growing about 5 a month, is that I don't know any of them that wouldn't tell you, if you asked them a question, they'd be honest with you and help each other. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what's cool about having such a big company relative to anybody else in the market in North Central Washington, that we combine strengths at times. We leverage and lean on each other. And, you know, we have agents in Republic, we have agents in Moses Lake and Ephrata and Lake Wenatchee and Snoqualmie and Quincy. JP's from Quincy.
No,
Yeah.
not from Quincy.
Yeah, so that's what's fun about it. And you know, sometimes we refer with any in the business to each other. So if you had just a couple things to tell people thinking about real estate right now, I know you said that you can have your own time. What are some of the challenges that you're going to face right out of the gates?
Right off the gate, we are all human, and you are not going to be compatible with every single person that you meet. And there's going to be transactions or showings that are forced. And even I go through it. For the most part, I do build great friendships, and I am still in touch with 90% of the clients that I sell to. and we can joke and laugh, and you're in this bonding moment, whether it's just the standard 30 to 45 days because you go under contract right off of meeting them, or years. But not everybody is going to click with you and be your friend, and that is okay. You can still be successful. And, we talked a little bit about mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Don't be afraid to admit you've made a mistake. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to be genuinely honest. If an agent asks for feedback on a house and it wasn't for your buyers, just tell them that. Years ago, I used to be afraid to tell the listing agent my buyers didn't like it, and my response would be, oh, they're thinking about it. Honesty goes a long way in this field, and connecting with other agents, not just in your own brokerage, and getting your name out there to them to where they enjoy a conversation with you and they know who you are. Networking is huge.
Yeah, I call it being a secret agent makes it harder to make money.
Yeah.
So there's so many people that are, instead of being unapologetically aggressive about what we do, meaning like almost everybody you talk to you should say, do you know anybody that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate that I can help? And you're not asking for business from a greedy perspective. You're actually, with that question, you're saying to people, I want to help you. And when you put that in the mindset, but it's amazing to me how many realtors don't do that.
Yeah.
They won't tell anybody they're a real estate broker. I'm like, that's a lot harder to make money. You don't have to live it, but I'll tell you what, if people don't know what you do for a living, they're not probably going to hire you.
Yeah, and I would also say, if you're only, of course, we all do a job to get paid, and money is the center of everything in your life. However, if you're doing real estate strictly for the money, then I firmly believe that you are in the wrong line of work, because I can tell you that if you're money-driven the entire transaction, it's not the same as building the relationship, because you build that relationship and that person's going to refer you to 5 other people who then in turn will keep referring you, resulting in a larger income. And it might take a while to build there, but if you're so focused that your relationship with that person and representing them isn't front and center to what is going on, you're not going to get what could potentially spiral into even more.
Yeah. Well, you're satisfied as a person, right? You have fulfilling friendships that come from the client world to the friendship world as you're working together. I mean, that's commendable. And often we forget that, we call it the FU of real estate, right? Follow up.
Yep.
I mean, that is where the vast majority of realtors fail, is that they're not communicating with their people and they're not integrity-based with that friendship, right?
Yeah.
It was just a snapshot in time, but, that's one of the things I look back at my 3 decades in real estate, and it's just pretty amazing how many friendships I've built, really solid friendships. I wouldn't trade that for anything, and they want to help you.
Yeah.
And you said something else that's really important. It is okay to interview clients just like they're interviewing you.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say, you know what, I'm going to refer you to somebody else in the firm, out of the firm. At the end of the day, a high-speed chase. At the end of the day, that's what's fun about this business. And it's the kind of business that you can do anywhere in the world. Keller Williams is in 56 countries with almost 200,000 agents. And, plugging and playing in Costa Rica may not be a bad idea someday, right? So what would you say to somebody if they've had success in the past, but you said, when your hopper gets light, there are times in this business when you're self-employed and you're commission-based, you look up and you're like, man, I don't have any pendings. And that's a scary feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Because I produce at a high level, probably what I consider to be going long enough without writing an offer or getting a listing. I'm my own worst enemy. I am the biggest competitor of myself. So when you're competing with somebody, your goal is to do better than them. So that's when I look at what I'm doing and I compete with myself and get my butt back in gear, because maybe I did slack off, which, I get lazy. I like to sit on the couch and binge Netflix and not handle my business, but I can only do that for so long before the panic sets in, because I am that passionate about real estate that I strive each day to do better than I did before. I don't always succeed at it, but I strive for it.
Well, it comes back to that mindset. And mindset's not something that comes natural, right? Like, what comes natural is fear. But one of the things that I always love that Fletcher says is courage can only be present when fear is there, right? You can have fear without courage, but you cannot have courage without fear. So the one thing that is cool is when you're in those moments and you face something that is scary, you also can then bring the right attitude to the problem, handle the problem, and then courage will get you to the next step. Having courage sometimes to say no, as well as the courage to sometimes dig deeper and get after it. But, you have to have courage to have balance too, right? Because that's one of the things we talked about, like with Fletcher. Hey, and I deal with that a lot. I have a lot of irons in the fire. And I'm like, this year's the year I'm going to simplify. And I'm always trying to do that, right? But it's just, I think what I love about somebody that's producing at the level you're at is how honest you are about being normal, and that anybody can do this business. This isn't rocket science. This isn't quantum physics. This is not biology. You don't have to be a mathematician. You just do have to bring the work ethic with the right mindset, though. And everybody's going to deliver a different level. There's very few mutants like you, Lisa, that can do what you do. And yet I love that you're telling people that even somebody that from the outside looking in has it all going on, that you face the same basic things that we all face.
Yeah.
And that's our company, right? I mean, there's some truth to just the fact that our culture is what it is. We're integrity-based people that care for each other and care for our clients. And it's like, the God family business thing is a real deal. And we do try to back each other up. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, 100%, yeah. So, I mean, not only does Keller Williams have one of the best commission splits out there with other brokerages, but it also has the support, the training, the ethics. We don't have time to go into that today, but I can tell you that not every brokerage out there works off of ethics. Keller Williams does.
So you've actually had firsthand experience asking me for some help as a designated broker, and did I show up for you?
Yes. And you've had my back, and you were there. Yeah. Spot on, time and time again.
I think that's important. I think when you as a designated broker decide that you're going to coach people in this business, you have to be happy being successful through the success of others.
Yeah. And
that's what turns me on, is watching people succeed in their goals. And I think that our entire leadership team is like that, and we're real blessed to have who we have.
Yeah,
including
very fortunate to be here.
All right, well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. I know your time is extremely valuable. Probably sold 3 houses while you're in between the breaks. All right, guys, we'll be right back with Sharon, Crockett, and PrimeLending.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true.
Hey, this is Russ, McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hi, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I have an exciting opportunity that I want to share. Keller Williams is partnered with the largest real estate school in the country, and we are now offering free real estate training. That includes not just the 90 hours that you need for pre-licensing requirements by the state of Washington, but real-life practical experience as well. Give us a call at 509-888-0038 or email us at joinus@kwncw.com.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. And as always, I have my partners in crime, Sharon, Crockett, and Michael Maher.
Good morning.
How you doing, Sharon?
I'm doing well. How are you, Russ?
I'm good. You know, I feel like I'm a little hamster on a wheel running really, really fast. I hope I'm going somewhere. How about you?
Yeah, things are going great.
Yeah, it's crazy
Definitely,
times.
Spring is here. Spring's around the corner anyway.
Yep, we were talking off air about you are changing with the times. You're talking about some customization around pre-approvals. So could you maybe share with our listeners what we're talking about?
Yeah, so we're in a different environment now in the real estate world with a rising rate environment where rates, are on their way up and down depending on the day and the market and what's going on. But what that's doing is it's causing people to reanalyze, what am I pre-approved for? What are my payments going to be? What are my closing costs and down payment going to be? So we're really just structuring it a little more customized. We're always customizing things, but now it's even more important for us to ask each client, what's most important to you? Lowest payment and interest rate or lowest closing costs and down payment? We all want both, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But typically you have to pick one or the other in the mortgage world. So we find out what's most important to them and then give them a few options so they don't feel priced out or, like there's no option for them.
Yeah, it always amazes me when I'm out in the public talking to people about mortgages and how many people don't know that there's so many different programs that can be customized. It really feels like the general public, as much as we try to explain it to them, they often just fall back to the old standard, even the people that are saying I need 20% down or I can't get a loan, wherever they got that information. But it's much more than that. And I think what's good, what's really important for people to realize is that their story matters. In fact, what's your website, Sharon? Isn't it? Your
story begins here.
Right. I think that's such a great, the more you think about the thought you put into that domain name for your website, that's really what I see you guys do. And how would you encourage people to get a hold of you? When you're talking to them, how do you inspire them to tell you their story so you can help? What are some of the ways that, when you sit somebody down with a consultation, what is it that you ask them? What is it that you're looking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. We really just have a conversation with them and find out where they are at in the process. Are they selling and buying? Are they first-time home buyers? Are they looking for their retirement home? What stage of life are they in? And then from there, we ask them those questions. What's most important to you? Is having a low payment the most important thing to you? Is having the lowest interest rate the most important to you? Is having the lowest cash to close the most important to you? Typically, one or the other stands out. And for example, we have some clients right now who he had about $30,000 of his own money to work with, and he wanted his payment at a certain level. And he said, I'm going to get an extra $10,000 from a family member, and I really want to use that to put down on my home loan to make the payment lower. And I said, you know what? If payment is most important to you, why don't we take that 10 grand instead of putting it down, which only saves him $50 a month in his payment? Why don't we look at buying the rate down with that 10 grand? Because you're going to get way more bang for your buck. and it was a gift he was getting. And we were able to get him into the payment zone, even though he had to escalate on the pricing to win this offer. And it worked for him. He was happy. Now he's going to have the payment that he wants. But everyone thinks they want to put that money down as down payment.
Right.
But it's not always the best option.
Yeah, for people that are unfamiliar with buying rates, could you explain what that is?
Yes. So banks, we all kind of get our rates from the same market, same place. But there are many rates available, and often clients don't understand that or even know that. You call a bank and you say, what's your rate? And they give you one rate. But at PrimeLending, we have many rates available depending on what's most important to them. So we will, every time we lock in a client, we will show them the options. We'll say usually 2 or 3 options. We'll say, here's your lowest rate and payment, and here's maybe a couple other options. And usually with that lowest rate comes some cost to get that rate. And what we often hear is referred to as points. And 1 point is equal to 1% of the loan amount. So for example, if someone has a $200,000 loan amount and they're paying 1 point to get a certain interest rate, it would be $2,000 in additional closing costs to get that rate. And so we often give people options, as far as a really big buy down, maybe a medium buy down, and then maybe no points. And then they can choose which option is most important to them.
Right. And that's the key, right? There's diversity in the programs, and that's why the motivation, the financial capability, all of those attributes wrapped up into one client, it's important that they have a conversation with you. And the other thing that's important, I think, for people to realize is these conversations are completely confidential. I think there's a lot of people that have history, like all of us, and some of that history is not always good. Sometimes you go through bankruptcy, sometimes you go through divorces, sometimes you get collections or late payments. And I think often people that have gone through life are scared to try, right? They're afraid of how somebody's going to judge them for something on their credit report, for example. I just want to assure everybody that's not how you do it, right, Sharon? I mean, it's all confidential.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a coaching call almost, where we come alongside. I love that verbiage. I know you do too, where you just come alongside people and just encourage them. And some of them are reluctant to share if they've been through things. And, really that empathy, that voice of empathy is so important when we're talking to people. It's not just, hey, give me the facts, give me all your information. Now let me see what I can do. It's a conversation. It's, when they share those things, it's usually with a comment or two of, yeah, I didn't make the best decisions back then. And it's like, you know what? Me either. We've all been there. And they just need to know they're not the only one. And then we just quickly encourage them and move forward that does not disqualify them, because there's a lot of options with people who've had all sorts of different, histories and things that have happened.
Yeah, well, life happens, right? And empathy with a strategy attached to it is the key. It's
Yes.
you're going to be empathetic, you're going to be confidential, and then you're going to put this complete plan together. And it may not be day one. Maybe, hey, work towards doing this, and then we can do that. And that's the idea,
Exactly.
right? Like you said, that come alongside is a great phrase. It's just really give, right? When you come from that selfless mentality, of course, we're not allergic to money. But why I love to work with you guys is that your heart is in it 100%. And you are going to go to bat for people. And that's not just a slogan or a marketing campaign. These are like real people that need real help. And you're an expert in the mortgage game. And it's a game. There's so many variables that are available to people from, I'm selling the rehab loan constantly in this market because you can't find a home that's attainable anymore. I mean, there's so many people that are priced out of the market already. Well, that's because I think they're looking at it conventionally, looking at it straight on without imagination. But I've always said the one with the imagination gets the equity, right? So if the seller fixes it up and, it's perfect, well, you're going to pay retail as a buyer. If you can find one that has some blemishes, it has that bathroom that's, weird color, or has a kitchen that's too small, or only has 2 bedrooms or 1 bedroom, but's on a nice lot. That rehab loan can do so many things for people because then they get the equity. But you have to be willing to roll your sleeves up and buy wholesale. And that's another thing that you guys do at a very, very proficient level. And my son got the loan. I mean, there's no way he could have got a house in Chelan. You know, he just got out of the Marine Corps. He's, you know, solo income. And we found him a 95-year-old house on 3 lots.
Right. That was quite a good deal. That all came together real nice.
Yeah, I mean, I told him he's going to have to learn these 2 words called sweat equity, but he's a Marine. I told him he could handle it, and he did it. He's gutted it. He's got it fixed up. Got the heating and cooling system provided in the financing, and he got a brand new septic system in the financing. So those were 2, like $25,000 big ticket items that he couldn't come out of pocket with. But with that program, he was able to include those things that house needed, and boom, now he's got this completely remodeled home and 2 extra lots. So it's a great program, and it's one of those programs that people will tell you. I hear it all the time. Oh, I know what that is. I know that loan.
Yeah.
They're thinking like 1995, right? Like back in the day when the FHA, I don't remember what it was called, that 20 whatever. What was that one rehab loan FHA did a long time ago that everybody thought was?
Oh, the 203K?
Yeah, 203K. They thought,
that one, yeah, we still have that one. But yeah, that's back in the day, that was the only one available.
And it was kind of cumbersome a little bit compared to at least how you guys do it. And don't be afraid. So how do people get a hold of you to talk about their story?
Yeah, so our website is yourstorybeginshere.net. That's yourstorybeginshere.net. And my phone number is 425-327-1451. We do loans in all 50 states, and then we have offices in Wenatchee and on the west side of the state as well. Yeah, so we're ready to help.
And you have a collection for our teddy bear campaign, brand new teddy bears. Where's your office in Wenatchee located that they can bring their brand new teddy bears to?
Yes, the bin's right outside our office door at the Confluence Technology Center at 285 Technology Way, Suite 142. Just come in through the double doors and turn right, and our bin is right there. So yeah, bring your teddy bears by, and we're excited to be helping in that aspect as well.
All right, Sharon, thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody get outside. Thanks for tuning in today. Go have some fun with your friends and family and enjoy life. Be present.
It's a brand new day. Just came my way. I bought a new home. Yeah, home, sweet home. Oh, home, sweet home. Keller Williams, I love my dream home. Yeah, I love my dream home. Home, sweet home.